Welcome to lecture number 2. In the previous lecture, we learned about HTML language, how to create document structure, insert headings, paragraphs, and comments. Now let's move further. In this lecture, we learn about difference between tag and an element, attribute in HTML, doctype HTML, meta tag, horizontal rules, line breaks, citations, quotations, and definitions. Let's talk about the difference between tag and element. But before we talk about the difference, you may remember in the previous lecture, we discussed about tags and how they help us in providing web browsers with instructions about the web page. So you can say that, in other words, this also can be referred to as the markup that tells the web browsers how to display the content in a web page. So just a quick recap. What is the tag? Any text written inside the angle brackets. So yes, we are talking about these angle brackets, opening and closing tags. The text written inside the angle brackets is just used to tell the browser how to display or transform regular text located between the opening tag and the closing tag. Now after the tag, we have something advanced, that is element. So element is much more than a tag. An element is an opening tag and also a closing tag, and all the content that is included between the two tags. How an element looks like. So this is how an element looks like. You can see that the tag is as such, but inside this opening brackets, you have another information or an extra information that we are including here as an attribute. So this is the complete opening tag and this is a closing tag. The whole thing, including this attribute, comes to be known as an element. In the next slide, we are going to learn about attribute. What is an attribute? These are additional values that configure the elements or adjust their behavior in various ways to meet the criteria that the users want. So that is just an you can say additional or extra piece of information that is required by the web browsers. Now just as a very simple example, we have a root element called HTML. Inside this HTML tag, we included one attribute called as lang. This lang is referred to as language, whose value has been set to English. So here EN here means English. The next topic is doctype HTML. This is a special declaration that helps the browser to display the page correctly by telling it the type of code that we are writing. So here in this case we refer to HTML5. We have been using this doctype HTML since the introduction of HTML5. It should appear once at the start of the document before any other element. So means that we write it just before the root element, and that is HTML. This is a special element that doesn't require a closing tag, means that it is an unpaired tag. This ensures that the web page is parsed or interpreted the same way by different web browsers. So why exactly we need a doctype HTML? Because while rendering the web page, the browser has to follow all the specifications that you are using in your HTML document. So your browser has to parse your web page in a certain way. Means that if you're not using doctype HTML, possibility is there that your web page may not be interpreted the right way by different browsers. So this is how a doctype HTML tag looks like. Moving ahead, So we have meta tag now. A meta tag provides information about a web page. This can be used to specify the character set, page description, keywords, and author of the document. So let's now understand what we can define in this tag. So first one, we can see we have used meta tag, and there's an attribute called as character set. So this char set means character set, and its value has been set to UTF-8. So character set here means different characters that are being used and supported by the web. And this UTF here means Unicode Transformation Format. We are using Unicode because the text can be processed and transported independently of any platform or language. Moving on to the next. So here in meta tag, this is another meta tag where we are specifying the name as viewport. So viewport is what? It refers to the user's visible area of a web page. And content is another attribute which has been set to width equals to device width. So this part ensures that the width of the viewport, that is generally we call it as the visible area of the device screen. So this is set to the equal to the device actual width. So in device independent pixels. In other words, it makes sure that the web page, the web page content has to fit within the screen width of the device. And next one is initial scale 1.0, means that the web page content is displayed at its normal size without any kind of scaling. And yes, meta tags are always used inside the head element. But apart from all this, we can also specify the page description, keywords, and author. So let's have a look. We are using this for the description, and next one is used for the keywords, and further we are using it for the author. So here in description, this description is used to search to display in is used by the search to display in search results. And then we have keywords. The keywords related to your web page that helps the user in searching for the web page efficiently. And then we have the author. You can include any information about the author of the document using this specific format. So these are certain things that we can specify in a meta tag. Now let's have a look once that where these tags doctype HTML and meta tag being used in real world. So I'll go to a website. Well, you can go to any website, but right now I'll be going to Amazon. And let's say I'm clicking here, and we are going to view the page source of this website. So for all of you to know that whenever you need to check the code of any specific website, then you have to right click and click on view page source, and there's a shortcut Control U. So click here, and I'll zoom in a bit. You can see that in the beginning they have used doctype HTML, and after that they're using the HTML tag. Now let's try to go for the meta tag, which is already here. You can see meta char set UTF-8. But there might be some other meta tags being used here. So I'll just search meta. Right, so you can see that this is how they are defining the description. There's some description regarding Amazon.in, then online shopping India, buy mobiles. Then further they are defining some keywords also. Again, online shopping India. So why they are being used? Because meta tags are very helpful in making the search results efficient. So basically they are used for search engine optimization, which is right now out of the scope of this syllabus. let's now create an HTML document and see how we can use these two tags. So I'll be creating a new file with HTML extension using this plus sign, and you can see I have already named my folder as CSC326. We will name our file as lecture2.html. We got our document. This time we will not insert or write the tags manually. We have an interesting shortcut, and that is if you press Shift and exclamation together, you will get the HTML template. So let's press Shift key and exclamation together, hit enter, you will get the HTML template. And very clearly you can see this time you have got the doctype HTML. You have also got the HTML root tag using the slang attribute whose value is EN, that is English. You got both the meta tags where we are using the character set, and also the viewport where we are using name as viewport and content as width equals to device width. We also got the title, and we can change the title here if we want. So right now let's go ahead. We need to change, we need to make a few changes here. Let's insert one heading, and we will keep it as simple as possible. I'll write here heading 1, and we'll include paragraphs. This is paragraph 1. Insert one more paragraph. This is paragraph 2. Let's save the file. So let's have a look at whether we have that output here or not. Okay, we can go live once again. Okay, that's great. So we got the option here. Let's make a few changes. Yeah, so it is making changes in real time now, which is okay for us. Now let's imagine we need some kind of separation between the heading. As you can see, this is heading 1 and this is the paragraph 1. Let's say we need some kind of separation between the heading and the paragraphs, or sort of you can say a thematic break. So let's see how we can do this. This can be achieved with the help of horizontal rules. So as you can see that this is an HR tag that defines a thematic break in an HTML page. And it is also called as the horizontal rule, represented as HR tag. So all we have to now do is between the H1 and the first paragraph, we can include one HR. So I'll write here HR and save the file. So you can see that we got the thematic break between the heading and the first paragraph. Now suppose we need a line break between these two paragraphs. Suppose this space is not enough for us. For this we use the break tag, and that is represented with the help of BR. These are called as line breaks. The BR tag inserts a single line break, and it is represented as the BR. It is generally used in poem or address where the division of line is necessary. Now we shall include one BR tag. So right after the first paragraph, I'll write BR, save the file, and you can see a line break has been inserted. But let's try to understand this once again with a very good example. As we just learned that this is very good for poems and including addresses. So I'll create one more paragraph right after. This is the paragraph 2. I'm going to include let's say just a small poem. For example, I write twinkle, twinkle. After this, I want to include little star. Little star I would like to include after twinkle, twinkle. So means I need this in the next line. You can see that twinkle, twinkle, little star, these both lines are coming in the same line. These two, or you can say these four words are coming in the same line. So this time break will come into picture. We need a break tag here. And yeah, so that's it. Let's now proceed to the next topic. How to insert quotations. The quotation elements in HTML are used to insert quoted text in a web page. That is the portion of text which is different from the normal text in the web page. This can be done with the help of the first method is using Q tag, and the second method is blockquote. So with the help of a practical example, we'll try to understand the differences between the two. We are back to our practical example. We'll now insert one quotation with the help of a Q tag. I'll write here one quotation, all that glitters is not gold. Right, so when we save it, you can see the output here. I'll zoom in the output. Right, so you can see that all that glitters is not gold has been inserted in inverted quotes. So moving ahead, we have another way to use the quotation, to insert a quotation, and that is with the help of blockquote tag. I'll use a blockquote, but we will also have to understand that how it is different from the Q tag, all that glitters. Let's say if I write only this much, I'll just save it, and you can see that there is some space added before the quotation. So that is the main difference, that whenever we use the Q tag, the inverted quotes, double inverted quotes will be inserted, while if you're using a block quote, then in that case there will be no inverted quotes, but an extra space would be added before your text. Next one is citations. The cite element is used to mark up the title of a cited creative work, generally used to provide reference or title to a creative work, any quoted content. So this can include a book, it can include a research paper, and further it can include an essay, a poem, a musical score, or a song. How to use citation in your HTML document. For example, I'm right now inside the block quote, and we have a saying here that is, all that glitters is not gold. So this quotation has been said by William Shakespeare. Let's say I would like to cite his name here. So I'll write the cite tag, cite, and I'll just write William Shakespeare. So when I save it, you can see that the citation, the cite tag will show the name of the author right here, and that too in italics. If you want to make it a bit better, then you can also use a paragraph here and use this quotation right inside the paragraph. So for better visuals, you can also align your text. But right now we are not discussing regarding the alignment of the text. So that's all for the citation in this. Next is definitions. A DFN HTML element is used to indicate the term being defined within the context of a definition phrase or sentence. Let's say we have to define any specific term. That term will be written inside the DFN tag. So let's see how we can implement the DFN tag. We are back to our program. Let's define a term here. For this, first of all, we need a paragraph tag. Inside the paragraph, I'll write a definition, but the term will be included inside the DFN tag. So we are going to write a very simple definition. Let's say a computer. So computer I'll write in DFN tag. A computer is an electronic machine. A very simple definition we are writing. You can see that we got the computer term somewhat emphasized here, that it has been italicized, indicating that this is a specific term that is being defined. And also you must notice that the term that is being defined, that is inside the DFN tag, but its definition will be inside its nearest parent tag. So the nearest parent tag here is the P tag, that is the paragraph. Now that we are done with the practical part, so these are the references from where you can study the different tags which have been executed and taught in this lecture. I have also included the program link in the slides here. So from here you can refer to the program that has been completed in this specific lecture. Now let's move on to the week 2 assignment. Finally, you need to go to the same website as communicated in the previous lecture. This time you must complete step number 65, 66, 67, 68 and 69 of Learn HTML by building a cat photo app. And you have another exercise as well. Complete step number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of Learn basic CSS by building a cafe menu. For more clarity, this is where you should go, responsive web design certification, and come to the first project, Learn HTML by building a cat photo app. Here in this, you should be able to complete the step number 65, 66, 67, 68 and 69. While for the next one, we have Learn basic CSS by building a cafe menu. Expand this. And it is important that you cover the first 7 exercises or tasks given in these 7 steps. So that is all for this lecture number 2.